This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends.
You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father.
Welcome to Day One. Our radio preacher is Bishop Bevel Jones of the United Methodist Church. His message is entitled Faith, Friendship, and Fruitfulness from John chapter 15, verses 9 through 17. In a moment, some reflections on his message and on this passage. But first, here's a brief excerpt from Bishop Jones' message.
The Christian life is basically one of relationships, a friendship with Christ and with one another. I want us to think today about that covenant. The key to the scripture of the day is that Christ has chosen us, asked that we be on His side, a member of His team. We didn't pick Him. He sought us out, recruited us, as it were, not by coercion, nor by conscription, but out of loving care, out of belief in us, out of concern that we get to know Him, enjoy fellowship together, and become all we are capable of being. This is the key to understanding the message of the Bible. All we are and do as people of faith is in response to our Creator's gracious overtures and actions in our behalf. We are called, chosen, and cherished by the one who created us.
Called, chosen by the one who created us. But I get this confused. Who chose you? Did you choose to follow God, or did God choose to come into your life?
God chose us. And I find that so comforting, because even though there are times in my life where I don't choose God, much as I would like to, much as I would love to say, I am faithful to the end, I am faithful 100% of the time in my thoughts, words, and deeds. The truth is, there are times in my life where I'm not faithful, and God has chosen me.
Even though you're not faithful.
Even though I'm not faithful, and that's the wonder and the gift of this grace of God.
It's really very freeing to know that it's not based on my merit, but something that's offered freely, and it's called grace. God's grace is truly amazing.
It seems to me like there was a point where I did face a choice. I had to make a choice about, am I going to follow or not?
Really, the God that some people present to us, I wouldn't choose.
Absolutely.
I really wouldn't choose.
Yeah.
There's actually a good book out now called When Bad Christians Happen to Good People.
Right.
So,
Right.
but ever since I saw the movie Saving Private Ryan, made by a Jewish filmmaker, but I think has an outstanding Christian message, that you have these 8 men who volunteer their lives to go rescue one guy. And several end up getting killed along the way, and you hear at the end of the movie that the hero, Private Ryan, says, I didn't want this, I didn't ask for this, what do I do? And Tom Hanks' character says, well, earn it. Go live from this point that does honor to the gift that we have given you. And I see that as an outstanding image. Christ has done what Christ has done. He didn't ask us whether we wanted to be saved. He saved us anyway. And the only choice we have is to then, from that point on, earn it.
Even when we try to run from God, even when we're not cognizant of God, eventually we come to an awareness that life is working out on our behalf. God is unfolding things and has unfolded things for us that we didn't even recognize. You know, regardless of what other people say we were worthy of or were not worthy of, that God was still there. And it was a God that perhaps other folks tried to paint a picture of, a God that we wouldn't have wanted to embrace. But there was still a presence working.
Bishop Jones talks about a gracious God, the graciousness of God. And in some sense, he's confronting us with what is our God all about? And I think at some point you have to make a decision, is what kind of a God is it that you're following or worshiping?
Absolutely. And if it is by God's choice that we come into relationship, it's by God's choice knowing everything that we're about, not just the good stuff. So it takes a lot of pressure off me sometimes when I'm thinking, oh gosh, I need to really live up to an image. God's already seen through the image. And so the grace to me is that it's a God who's chosen, having already seen me at my worst as well as my best. That's love, that's loyalty, that's exciting to me.
Bishop.